Yeah, we just turned it on.
No, I didn't sit down.
What's up?
I didn't sit down.
You didn't sit down. Yeah, we're sitting down. Howdy, folks. Donovan Questbury here with Christmas Light Contractors, and I want to talk about getting light jobs in Q2. So, um, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If people jump on here, great. If they don't, no big deal. It'll be a real short session. But for everybody that does not know, Christmas Light Contractors holds these weekly lives. We usually start up around this time of the year and go all the way into light season until we get too busy. We just can't do them anymore. But our whole goal is to just educate installers about the industry, grow the industry as a whole, and just give some news updates on what can be upcoming and what can be expected for the season. What's that, buddy?
He's a yucky dog.
Yeah, yucky dog. Yeah, they dug up some dead animals. Um, so what I really want to talk about this evening was it. Hey, you can't be interrupting while I'm going live. Okay, you can sit down and watch, but you can't be interrupting. So what I want to talk about is how to get jobs in Q2. For everybody that runs a business or whatever, a lot of times we start our planning and things like that by the calendar year. And what we try to do is for the Christmas light industry, right, is start trying to collect money earlier in the year, Q1, Q2, Q3, and not all of our income just in Q4. When that happens, then we got to spend a lot of money at the end of the year. It's not as easy to plan everything out, and we got to float our business for the entire rest of the year. So a lot of people, they really like having that money for Christmas lights, and they're like, how can I turn it into a year-round business? Few ways of doing that. Landscape lighting. Great resources for you there is Ryan Lee or Philip Ambrose. Those are two guys that really get into landscape lighting. They'll come out to a house or a business and install some lights. It is getting popular, tying those into as well. A lot of those projects having permanent lights like outlining the roof of a building. Let's see if I can turn my hair. Right. So, landscape lighting might be like putting lights down here in the concrete and shining them up or however, right, lighting it up. And then we can also do, I don't know how to do this with my finger. There we go. All right, so we can outline the roof line there with some permanent lights. So it's becoming real popular to essentially, turn that into a year-round business. What a lot of people will find though is like specifically for the permanent lighting, Q1 and Q2 don't even equal like what Q3 will be. And then, hey, how's it going? And then, everything combined doesn't even equal like what 2 weeks and, or like a month in Q4 will be. Hey, thank you. We'll try to have a great stream. And so again, how can we do that? Right. First thing is that, if you are specifically looking to get into can I join the live? Xander, no, we're not gonna, I'm not gonna have a bunch of people on for right now. Maybe if you're still on later on, I'll send you an invite to join if I can figure out how to do that from my phone. I know how to do it from the computer, but I really don't know how to do it from my phone. Sweet truck. I like it. Thanks, Robert. This right here, one job in 4 days, paid for this truck this past year. Is that Scooby-Doo over there? Let's see. This is Strider. So, hey, Strider, come here, buddy. Come here. You can sit. Sit.
I'm going to show them something.
You going to show them some? So this is Strider. When I am not doing stuff with my kiddos, and I got Jack back here too. Hey, Jack, can you say hi? There you go.
Hi.
All right. There you go. So we got Jack, and we got Strider. All right, go on.
Yeah.
Go on, Stinky Dog.
Yeah, to Strider dug up a dead fish.
Yeah, he dug up some dead fish. Anyhow, all right, let's hey, sit down in your chair, Jack. So when I am not running my business, hey, go on. Running my business or hanging out with my 4 kiddos and my wife, I am doing some dog training, and Strider and I compete in IGP. It's a breed survey for the German Shepherds, and essentially it has just become a sport. It's not, I mean, at the club level where I'm at, I'm like not at anywhere above a club level. That's like just basic competing and stuff. It's just a fun sport where you do tracking, you do some obedience, and you do some protection work out in the field. Anywho, Strider's the first dog that I got for that, and it's been a fun thing for me. All right, let's get back to some lights. So how do we get business, right? What I was saying is,
Hey, Dad.
okay, let's block this guy.
Daddy.
Block user on YouTube. There we go.
Hey, Dad. Daddy.
So what we'll do is we will, we'll try to generate some business. Hey, Jack. No, sir, not right now. Okay, I'm going live. I can't talk right now. No, sir. All right, go ask Mama. So what we'll do is, like, again, oh gosh, I did not mean to show that at the bottom of the screen. Anywho, we will just delete that right there. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. So how do we get business in Q1? All right. Q1, typically we're following up with our Christmas light clients, right? How do I particularly do that? What I do is I reach out to them right after Christmas, and I send out an email, send a text message, and say, hey, your light jobs are scheduled for takedown. Okay. By the way, if you want to finalize your design and schedule for 2025, like the next calendar year, go ahead and let us know. Right. Then we take down the lights and we follow up again. We say, hey, we just took down your lights. If you want to finalize your design, right? If you want to add anything on, take it off or whatever, go ahead and get that approved now. By the way, here is how you can pay the deposit. You pay 100%, pay 50%, or do a payment plan. So I start the process right after we install the lights. When clients are most excited is right there after they have the lights up, right before takedown. That's when they're most excited. Right after takedown, great customer experience. The most excited they're ever going to be is right then and there. And so let's go ahead and get them locked into the following year, right? Let's reach out to those people at takedown and let's say, hey, by the way, we just took down your lights. We can install year-round lighting if you'd like to transition to year-round lighting. Or I noticed when we drove by and took pictures of your house this past year that besides the Christmas light, that you don't have any landscape lighting. So your house might be a little dark for the rest of the year. If you'd like, we can come out here and give you a quote for that, right? So we're always following up with the previous year's clients. The next thing we immediately start doing is following up with the leads that did not sign up for us that particular year. So in 2024, all the people who said, hey, I got a really high budget, but for whatever reason, they didn't pull the trigger in 2024. Let's get them to pull the trigger in 2025. Let's talk to them about Christmas lights, permanent lighting, and landscape lighting. The other thing that you can let people know is, do they have, it's getting a little windy. Do they have any events coming up that they'd like lighting for, like a wedding or anything like that? If you're going to offer any of these services, you got to let your existing clients know. All right. Q2, I focus on referrals, right? Hopefully I've taken, January through March, right? Comes up on tax day. Tax day is today, right? So Q2, we're at the start of Q2. What am I doing now? I'm really working the referral game. Right. I'm reaching out. If I haven't done it yet, I'm reaching out to all my clients. Maybe I've gotten them signed back up for Christmas lights. Now I'm reaching back out to them for permanent lighting. Am I spending advertising dollars? Yes, I am. Right. Well, I'll start spending more money in Q2 and definitely start spending money in Q3, getting things lined up, getting some jobs approved and stuff like that. I'm not really doing a whole lot of that in Q1. We'll test out the waters, see maybe what's working, and then we'll pick one and we'll double down on that. I do a few things. So I will do some Facebook ads. And I will create some like lookbooks or whatever. So when I'm going out and doing some appointments, when I'm following up with my clients, I want to give them something that they can remember me by, like a hardcover lookbook that lists all the services that I offer. Maybe I'm a power washing company. Maybe I'm landscaping or whatever. Maybe you have another business, or maybe you just do lighting full time. I would highly suggest that you leave something with the client that's not just a flyer, that's not just like a cheap a cheap whatever. Let's see, reload. There we go. But go ahead and leave something that the client's going to hang on to, that the client is going to remember, and that they also, whenever their friends or somebody like that comes up to them and says, "Hey, I'm having this event or I'm having that," that they'll think of you and maybe possibly even give that lookbook to a friend. That's what I'm really after. Every time they do that, I will follow up, especially this time of the year that I have time. I will follow up with the person who referred them out, and I will try to buy something for them, a thank you, a Starbucks gift card or whatever. I mean, people are really used to that. But what if you find out what their favorite restaurant is, right? Maybe Alex Perry just told this story at our last training in Indiana. He said that one person who refers him out quite often, he wanted to thank them and make it really special. So he got in touch with the person's daughter and said, what would they really, really appreciate? Right. And as it turns out, they used to not have a lot of money, and growing up, or not growing up, when they were first married, first building their business, they didn't have a lot of money. And so they loved going to, I believe it was Longhorn or it was Outback. It was one of the steakhouses. I think it was Longhorn Steakhouse, or maybe it's Texas Roadhouse, something like that. But they just really loved it. And that was their favorite restaurant to go to. So he went, and because of that referral that came from, he went and got them a gift card to that specific place and left them a little note and stuff like that. And that means so much more to him. The fact that he took that time and really said thank you and didn't just send off like a box of Girl Scout cookies or something like that. So he did that, and he followed up, and he's really working those referrals. Now it turns into a referral partner with them. The other thing that he does right now is actively looks for those partnerships that he can refer them out, and they will refer him out. And it's meaningful. It's 10% of the job. It's 20% of the job when he gets a client from them. And anybody who's used that company, if he finds out that they've used that company, even if it's not a direct referral from that person, he will give credit to that company, like builders and things like that. So even if he does a job for somebody that had their house built by that builder 10 years prior, before he ever even had a working relationship with that builder, he'll pay that builder for it. And that's integrity, and that's how you build out referral partners. So if you want to get more information on that, reach out to Alex Perry. And another thing that you can reach out to Alex Perry for is if you need some really good photos of different lighting projects, like permit lighting, Christmas lights, anything like that. He does also sell professional grade photos. It's sort of a hobby of his. I know he doesn't do it a whole lot anymore, but you can probably get a few photos from him and pick his brain at the same time about maybe some different things that he's doing to do his permanent lighting year round and some of his big commercial lighting. So again, we're working that, and we're getting that. Now, as we're doing all these things, I want you to think about, like, everything that I've talked about so far is like reaching out to clients, working referrals, and developing referral partners. Those are, no, sir, not right now. I can't talk right now. So those are 3 ways of getting like active clients, meaning like you actively have to work to get that client. And, you know, I would also highly encourage you to go ahead and work on some passive ways as well. So I always mention this. This is the 101, guys. I'll get into some meat and potatoes later, but I just want to start these first few minutes with kind of like the generic stuff, right? So, you know, again, so right after you get that job, you close that job, you make that person happy, you close it, whenever they're the most excited, go ahead and build out some sort of online reviews. What I mean by that is your number one in my area is going to be Google. Maybe it's Nextdoor, maybe it's something else for you guys, but wherever your clients are going to go and talk about service providers, I would recommend that you guys do that. Here's another way of doing that. And now's the time of year. And I want to talk about one thing that I helped do that really spent, I didn't have a lot of money in the beginning. But this is a great tip. I've shared it quite a bit at training. I know other people have implemented it, and it's worked for them as well. But it is developing a local group, right, in your area. The best one around here is Wake County Home Improvement. Right. So when we first were growing Wake County Home Improvement, I was just an active member in there. And what I did is I got a group of about 5 or 6 other service providers. Okay. And we would all be very active in that group. And every time they'd ask for, let's say it's gutter cleaning, all 5 or 6 of our service providers would recommend my business. The other one might have been HVAC or painting or handyman service, right? Or some other services, but we were all very active in that group. And what we would do is when a homeowner went into that group and asked for a recommendation, we would all recommend the person that we knew provided good customer service, was active in that area, had great reviews, was fully insured. So we knew it was a good quality. And every time that we send our customers to that other service provider, they do amazing work. And so it turned into kind of like this little recommendation group. And then as we started getting even more and more customers in there, the customers would also be active and they would start recommending those same group of service providers as well. So it turned into something that was like really beneficial. It took a lot of time, but you turn on your notifications for the group every time somebody posts. You don't even like, and here's the key there. Is you want to be active in those groups. You don't want to like just be recommending your own business, but you want to maybe get some tips or tricks of like the different trades. Or if you have a construction background and somebody asks for a recommendation, you can say, hey, best of luck with that. There's some good recommendations on here. By the way, here's a picture of a project I did in the past. One thing that I learned is XYZ. So you're not like soliciting for just people to reach out to you. You're also giving other advice and you're being active in that group. And what you're doing is you're building that group and you're investing in it. It's the same thing as like building up your Google profile or anything else. It may not pay off right here and now, but the more you build that group, the more active you are. And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up as an authority in that group. The more you do that, the better off you'll be and the better results you'll get for the time that you have invested. So in the beginning, you're investing a lot of time, a little bit of results, and then as it eventually even out where the time that you put in, you'll get immediate results, and you'll also get dividends from all the time that you put in before. Now, if you don't have one of those groups in your area, create the group, right? And now what you can do as an admin of that group, right, is you can have all the homeowners and all the contractors, you actively build and grow that group. And what happens is you say, all right, contractors are not allowed to post, right? You're allowed to post your business. There's going to be a once a week. It's like a Monday business highlight or whatever. And you put that up as a post, and then all the contractors, all the service providers can comment on that one post. All right. And so that way the whole group doesn't turn into spam of like people just self-promoting. Then what you do is you turn on post approval for all of the homeowners. And you do this once you get to about 1,000 to 2,000 members. You need to get a little momentum before you start implementing a lot of these rules, right? You want it to be the wild, wild west there in the beginning, but then you start implementing some of these rules and you start building this group where homeowners feel comfortable going and posting, asking for recommendations, and also giving feedback on good and bad contractors, right? So when homeowners feel comfortable there, then the contractors will come and also, network in that group. Here's the cool thing. If you think about it this way, if I own a gutter cleaning business or a Christmas light business or a landscape lighting business or permanent lighting business, the moment a homeowner makes a post that then has to get approved saying, hey, I'm looking for somebody to put up landscape lighting at my house, I get to send a message to that person as the admin of the group. Hey, I saw you were looking for landscape lighting. I'm going to approve your post, and I'm sure you'll get some great recommendations, but I'm actually the admin of the page, and I also run a landscape lighting business. So I get to send that message to that homeowner first, and I have a better chance of closing that job being the admin of that group, and also there being a lot of other recommendations that then follow up for my business once I approve that post and people start doing it. So that's a long-term strategy. But if you have an area that you're trying to grow, that is a great strategy for investing some time. I mean, quite honestly, you could invest 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a night in developing that Facebook group, and it will pay off dividends down the road. Now, why do I say Facebook? Facebook, I've learned this now. I'm officially an old guy. Okay. So I am not... new comments. By the way, we see a bunch of people on here. Is the audio coming across okay on here? Is everybody, if anybody has any questions about Facebook group or any of the other advertising methods that I'm going to talk about, put it in the comment section. I'm happy to answer those here in a few minutes. I just got a few more things I want to go over. And then if we don't have any questions, we'll probably end this thing pretty quick this week. But yeah, where was I at? Okay. So why Facebook? What I found is that I'm officially like an old guy. People that are like my age and older are the ones on Facebook, but also we're kind of the ones with a little bit of money, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but at 18, 19, 20 years old, I was on Facebook then, and it was a bunch of young people on Facebook, but it wasn't anybody that had any money. Now we've aged up, and now we're in our 30s or 40s or 50s, right? And we finally have a little bit of money. We have a house, or we have a car, or we have some, maybe some disposable income or whatever. And we're on Facebook just hanging out, looking at, friends that have kids that we haven't seen since high school or college, or we're on there or whatever. Then all of a sudden a video pops up of this guy with a cool car in the background. He's wearing a Christmas light shirt. And I'm like, why not check that out? What's he saying? Right. Or an ad comes across, or, whatever. Facebook is recommending this one business to me, or, I just bought this truck. Right. I want to join. All right. And that's one of the first things that I did on Facebook is I bought this truck and I said, you know what? I want to join a 50s Ford truck group. So let me find and apply to a few of those groups. Right. Right. Or, you're out there and you're a homeowner and you're looking for some different service providers. What you do, you type it in, you go on Marketplace, or some ads pop up. I do think that Facebook has a way of spying on us based upon our search history. So it recommends some stuff to you. And then all of a sudden you run across, like in my area, Wake County Home Improvement. Hey, don't get out of the truck. Don't get out of the truck. All right, hey guys, I'll be right back. Let me get my dog and put him up. I got somebody. Yeah, hey, don't get out of the truck. I'll be right back, guys. Come here, Strider. All right, there you go. I'll tell you what, if you want to grab a chair, you want to hop on the line? Yeah, there you go. All right, so I got some chairs right in here. And there we go. Yeah, don't want my dog eating anybody. Hey, so right in there, there's a bunch of toys, but you'll see some chairs like this. Yeah, just pull up a chair and then I'll interview you here about your season last year. There we go. All right, so I got some guys that just finished working, swung by my house to swap out the vehicles, but you get a chance to hear from Steven and get some of his experience as a Christmas light installer. But yeah, so my advice for you there is, people on Facebook, developing a group or getting in a group, being active. Those are the people with money, and you can target those people. The best thing you do is give advice and set yourself up as an expert in the space. So when you get on there, don't just solicit or spam or anything like that. Set yourself up as like you're the person with the answers. There we go. And I might be able to turn this video sideways. I don't know. That might mess us up. But what's up, man? You want to grab a chair? You don't want to get on video? I got some drinks in there in the fridge if you want to grab some Gatorade or water or anything like that.
Thank you.
All right. But you got to get beside me, man. You look like you're like 3 inches tall over there.
I
am. But yeah, so set yourself up as an authority in the space. And sometimes you'll network with like other installers like we got right here. Sometimes you'll run across... Yeah, hey, I'm still on the live, buddy. So let me finish this. Sometimes you'll run across homeowners that they're like, wow, that guy's really knowledgeable, right? He's teaching other people how to install lights or wash houses or whatever. And even though you'll be surprised how many homeowners will sit there and watch a how-to video. And so again, while you're not directly advertising to them, what you're doing is you're setting yourself as that authority, and then it'll come back down the road as, eventually getting leads and stuff like that. The next thing that will do is it will social proof your business. So as you start building those groups and building that social media, if you can tie it to your website, tie it to your Google page, it'll pay off by social proofing your business. And that way Google and the other search engines know that you're a real legitimate company, and that, and that all of your stuff is, organic and real and not just all AI generated. So, hey, here we go. So, man, tell them who you are. Tell them a little bit about what you're doing up here in North Carolina, and what maybe some of your goals are for this year.
I'm Steven Rivera. I own North Georgia Christmas Lights and Northeast Georgia Soft Washing. I'm basically up in North Carolina just to do some sub work up here. Business was pretty slow over in Georgia. So I reached out to Donovan, and he's give me the opportunity to make some money.
Yeah, there we go. How's it like first full week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but you have some experience with Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what you think about Christmas lights. I'll grab you and I a water bottle.
Well, I love Christmas lights. Pretty like easy money. That's really the reason why I like it. I've been doing it for like 3 years now, and 2 full years. So my first year I barely started. Like after Thanksgiving I started. So I got 2 full years in it.
Very cool. So what revenue wise, what did you do your first year? And then what did you do last year revenue wise?
My first year since I started, like after Thanksgiving, I think I only did like 8,000, 8 or 9,000. I really wasn't keeping track of it like that.
Yeah.
My second year I did like 20,000, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe 30. And then last year I did around 80,000 because I got in contact with a guy up in Georgia and I did a lot of sub work for him too.
Okay, so what as you doing some sub work, what are some things that you look for like what would attract you to working for another company, right? And what would make it like a win-win where you'd want to keep working for them?
I guess the first thing that would attract me is if I see that they actually have a lot of business to keep me busy.
Yeah.
I really don't look for too much. I just jump into the deep waters like that, which is not a good thing all the time because sometimes you get kind of screwed over. And what was the second question?
Well, I mean, just what would keep you working for them? Like, so you have your own business, right?
Yeah.
But why focus on
sub?
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, man, it's really tough to find help these days. It's tough to find an employee or whatever. But if they could partner with somebody like you, right? Like that might be a win-win. You have access to labor and you don't mind going out there working. And if they have the clients and the business and stuff, but what would make it like a good fit where you'd want to keep working for them? Like what would make it so that you'd want to keep working for me? Or what would make it so you're like, screw this, I want to go home?
Well, I'm gonna be realistic. The main thing is gonna be the money. The money's good. I'm gonna stay. But besides the money, good communication. Yeah, that's really my.
It's pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pay your people good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. At the end of the day, like everybody needs to make money. You can't. If you can't survive on peanuts,
No.
right?
Yeah. Sure.
So cool, man. I mean, pretty straightforward. You got any experience with permanent lighting? You got any interest about that? What did you see last year? Were people requesting it for your personal business?
Yeah. So last year was the first year I actually got requests for permanent lighting, and it was about 3 customers. It kind of does interest me, but I just really haven't looked into it that far because I heard it's like a little bit complicated.
Yeah,
a lot of
it. Yeah, it's more than a little bit. But all right, very cool. Well, guys, I don't see any questions popping up on here. They may not. I don't know what overlay is. But I'm not seeing anything pop up on here. So I'm going to go ahead and call this short. I'm going to finish working with these guys. We'll see you guys next week on the live. If you got any questions about marketing in Q1, Q2, feel free to reach out. And then I also want to let everybody know that if you attended one of the permanent lighting classes this year, we are going to start doing an overview because it's been a couple of months for folks. We're going to start going over all the content that we learned those first few days. And we're going to do an hour or 2 a week. So look out. We're going to shoot everybody a text message with some Zoom links, and we're going to try to pick a day that works for everybody. And then those recordings will be available for another few days, probably until the following week. But look out for that text message coming to you. And we are going to start those lives, webinars, now that we've gotten caught up on all of our